Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. You heard the news. I'm pretty sure you did, ladies and gentlemen. The New York Knicks are actively engaged in talks to acquire Derrick Rose from the Detroit Pistons. And here we go. It starts today, ladies and gentlemen. Players who were signed in the summer can be traded as of today. And we talked about it the other day. This is when you would expect that you would start to hear some real news. So let's check it out. According to Shams, the Knicks are engaged in talks to acquire Derrick Rose. Other teams are also interested, with the Pistons and Rose agreeing that a trade elsewhere would be the best for both sides. One more time, ladies and gentlemen. The Knicks are engaged in talks to acquire Derrick Rose. There are other teams that are interested, but the Pistons and Derrick Rose, they've agreed that a trade elsewhere is best for both sides. Here we go. Divine, talk to me how you feel about it, man. Break it down for me.
Peace to the chat. Peace to you, Josh. Nothing but Knicks, everybody. I'm all for it. I'm real. Man, this got to happen. We'll forget all the crazy, the little rebuild. No, I'm talking about the people who talking all that crazy, like, nah, Derrick Rose washed up. You go get Derrick Rose. Straight up. You like I said, you ain't got to mortgage the future, nothing. But if the Knicks can make that move, you putting a veteran, experienced point guard who's a dog, he ain't scared of nothing, on that Knicks team with Quickly in them. And man, I just think it's the right move, Sam. I think this could be that move that tells me that I see what the Knicks trying to do. They trying to get to where they trying to go. And if Derrick Rose can give you 15 a game, I don't care if he's starting off the bench consistently, you got to take that talent there. Other than Quickly, it's not too many people got his talent. You know what I mean? Derrick Rose is a talented man, and I just think that I hope it pays off for the Knicks. I think it'll be a good thing.
Josh?
So I agree. I think Derrick Rose definitely would be an upgrade at the point guard position. But again, it just depends on who the Knicks are going to give up in the deal. Derrick Rose is only making $7 million. He is a rental for this season. So what would Detroit want to take back? You know what I mean? I'm not a fan of giving up any picks, not even a second rounder. I don't want to give up a second rounder. We do have some dead weight on this team that we can be able to give up. And I think that, Detroit could use, they could use a Kevin Knox. I think that would be good for them, a young player to fit with their timeline over there in Detroit. So I think it'll be a good move, but it just depends on who we give up.
Yeah, definitely they're going to be giving up. There's no doubt in my mind that if they're going to be making a move for Derrick Rose, or if the Pistons are going to trade Derrick Rose, they're going to be looking to get back something, a young player in return, right? They're not just going to say, yeah, you can have him for nothing. All right, now, one player who's been discussed, according to Ian Begley, the Knicks are engaged. Oh, that's the wrong one. Let me get Ian Begley over there. According to Ian Begley, Frank Ntilikina is one player who has come up in the discussions between Pistons and the Knicks about a potential Derrick Rose trade. The Athletic first reported that the Knicks are in talks with the Pistons about a trade for Derrick Rose, who has a long history with Tom Thibodeau. All right, now, as far as I'm concerned, it only makes sense if you are going to clean up the roster a little bit. So either Alfred Payton or Austin Rivers has to go in that trade. I'm not saying that you don't move one of the young guys, because they're going to want some kind of a young asset, right? Either a second-round pick, or let's just say a pick. I'm not giving up a first, but so I'll say a second-round pick or a young player. And then if I'm the Knicks, I'm going to insist that we also do something for either Alfred Payton or Austin Rivers. Because if not, you're bringing in Derrick Rose, and now you created more of a glut at that guard position, right? Because you can sit DSJ, you can sit Frank Ntilikina. They've been playing Austin Rivers, although it looks like he's sliding out of that rotation. He's clearly been playing Alfred Payton. He's not going to sit quickly and take quickly out of the rotation. So if you add Derrick Rose, now you got another guard that has to play. If you trade for Derrick Rose, he has to play. So to me, it only makes sense for him to move either Alfred Payton or Austin Rivers, and then another asset to make Detroit happy. And also, if I'm moving a young player like a Frank Ntilikina, then if I'm the Knicks, my thinking is that I'm bringing Derrick Rose back for another year. I'm not doing it just for a rental for 1 year.
Right.
That doesn't make sense. Right? You're in the 6th seed without him. And there's no guarantee that you're going to stay there, but there's no guarantee that you're going to stay there with him here either. You know, he's not that level of a player. Yes, he does make you better, but he's not that level of a player. What do you think in that regard, Divine? As far as
I agree.
Alfred Payton or Austin Rivers
Yeah, I
being
agree with
moved?
you 100%. I think it's got to be Austin Rivers, man. That's, you know, he got a 3-year, 1-day non-guaranteed years, $3 million. I mean, you know what? Good try. We brought you in. It ain't work out. I definitely would do Austin Rivers. I just think that you just got to look at the talent. Derrick Rose is putting up 15 points a game, 14 points something a game. Other than quickly, nobody in our team in the back unit is doing that consistently, except for Alec Burks. So he's making our team better just by him giving you 15 points a game. You know what I mean? So I think you got to do that with his experience. And I think if you got to throw in DJ and Frank or something like that, whatever, you're not bringing them. If you're not going to bring them guys back, go for it. You know what I mean? What the hell? It ain't like you might not bring Frank, DSJ, or Rivers back, but if you're not going to bring them back while losing for nothing, you can get Derrick Rose and replace him until, you know, if you don't sign him next year, so be it. But at least for this year, he's better than all three of them, straight up. I get him. So that's why I would do it, because I just think that he makes more sense to put a talent like that with R.J. Barrett and Julius Randle, somebody who's been in the game, know the game, he know how to play the game. I think he'll do wonders for Julius Randle and R.J. Barrett, because he's not looking to be the alpha. He just want the ball, and I think that experience will make us much better than we are right now, offensively, definitely.
Yeah. Josh, what do you think? Out of those two guys, I mean, do you think the Knicks have to move one of those two guys? And if so, which one do you think?
I agree 100%. They definitely have to, because it will clog up the guard position even more than what it already is. But also a thing to keep in mind, Frank Ntilikina is making $6 million this year.
Yeah.
So if the Knicks give up, say, Frank Ntilikina and someone else, then it could be a chance that Detroit throws a pick back our way. We could get a draft pick coming back this way. If it is Frank and, Rivers, just for Derrick Rose on the pick, I think that'll be even, because then it'll even itself out. The Knicks wouldn't be giving up more than that's coming back this way.
Right.
But I definitely agree that Rivers is working his way out of the rotation, and Frank has not been in the rotation. So I mean, it would make sense to move both of those guys and to open up a spot in the rotation for Derrick Rose if it does go through.
Right. Maybe they bring back someone like Sekou Demboya.
Wasn't he the first round pick? Wasn't he the first rounder?
I'm not exactly sure, but
I think
he's been, he's kind of been on the outs. I think, he said he's had some trouble with his work ethic, and you don't want to bring that here, but maybe maybe Tom Thibodeau could change some of that. So I don't know if he's been playing a lot. I just heard a rumor that, there's been some issues with him playing, with his work ethic, with his conditioning, some things like that. Maybe he's a guy that they throw in there. Sekou Demboya, he's making $3.4 million this year, right? So maybe, it becomes more than just Derrick Rose and Frank Ntilikina being swapped. But if you got to move one of these other guards, maybe it's Austin Rivers and Frank Ntilikina for Derrick Rose and Sekou Demboya or something like that. You know what I mean?
I would try that Josh Jackson move too. You throw Josh Jackson in there.
I think they like. Josh Jackson was a guy in the summer or whenever you want to say it, free agency, whatever it was, that I thought the Knicks could take a chance on because, the leadership that they have here now. I understood why they wouldn't want to, but I thought that they had strong enough leadership where you could bring a guy like Josh Jackson in and he could be successful. But I think he's playing for the Pistons, and I think they like him.
Okay.
I think they like him, so they may not be looking towards, him.
Okay. Yeah, somebody in the chat said Joshua said you can't trade Josh Jackson. I don't know why, but.
Oh, okay, yeah. I don't
Maybe because
know.
he's a part of their rotation.
Right. So Sekou Doumbouya right now, he is playing 12 minutes a game. 6'8", 230 pounds. Right. We might be trading a France guy for another guy from France, or they might want Frank Ntilikina because of Killian Hayes and Doumbouya. Who knows? But, something like that could be in the works. My thinking is that if you're going to make this move, I think Tom Thibodeau clearly likes Alfred Payton. I think Alfred Payton ends up staying. No need to shake up what's happening in that starting unit, in my opinion. Alfred Payton probably stays for this season. He's the starter. Derrick Rose comes in. He comes off the bench. He plays with Emmanuel quickly in that backcourt. And the reason why this makes sense to me is because, like you were saying earlier, if you swap Alfred Payton and Derrick Rose, how much better are you getting? Right? You're swapping a little bit more offense, but you're trading away a little bit more defense. I think if you keep Alfred Payton, you get Derrick Rose to come off the bench to give you what Austin Rivers is not giving you.
Yeah.
That makes sense, because now you are adding something, because you're actually adding 14 points per game to your lineup, to your bench, to go along with quickly. And I think that second unit would look a lot better with Derrick Rose in there rather than Austin Rivers. Looking at Derrick Rose stats this season, he's averaging 14.2 points per game, 1.9 rebound per game, 4.9 assists per game. He's shooting about 43% from the field and about 33% from the three-point line, and he's on a $7.7 million expiring contract. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. And we do have some people trying to call in, so continue to call in, 516-405-2246, and we'll continue to talk about this issue for just a couple of more minutes. But yes, the New York Knicks are actively engaged in trade talks for Derrick Rose and Divine. It's my opinion that if the Knicks are going to make this move, I'd rather see it happen sooner than later. Because I don't want, we're playing well, and I don't want it looming over the team that something's about to happen. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree 100%, Sam. I think they should get him sooner than later. And that way he can get acclimated quick, first of all, giving up time to master the team before by the All-Star break. That way going into the second half of the season, he know the system now. So I think getting the sooner the better, absolutely, man. If you can get Derrick Rose tonight, make that happen. But I just think that, you instead of waiting another month for the trading deadline, by another month, he'd be good. You know what I mean? Derrick Rose, it ain't too much he need to do. I think he learned, he know Tibbs' system. He know what Tibbs do. So it'd be almost like a smooth transition to me, because he know how Tibbs run his game. So it ain't going to be no problem with him. He just going to come in and blend right on it, because he know what Tibbs do already.
Exactly. Exactly. Josh, what do you think about that, man?
I totally agree. I think they need to make this trade. If they're going to do it, let's get it done. It's still out of season left. We might as well get the most out of Derrick Rose while we have the opportunity to. Waiting until the trade deadline, basically, not ruins the deal, but, we want to get the most out of Derrick Rose, try to help us win some games and move up in those playoff standings. So, yeah, I would do it as soon as they get the opportunity to, whenever Detroit's ready to pull the trigger.
Yeah. And do you think if the Knicks pull the trigger on this trade, is Derrick Rose coming back the following season?
I don't know. I really, really don't know. I mean, obviously we would want him to, if we're going to, trade away, some young assets, whether they're playing or not, we would want Derrick Rose to stick around a bit. But it's going to be tough. The Knicks definitely have the money. They can offer him, more money than what he's making right now. But again, it just depends on his performance this season. And, if Derrick Rose is even wants to stay, he could want to go somewhere else. So there's a lot of variables that go into that. But definitely, if we're going to make the move like this right now, we definitely need to want to bring him back for the next couple of seasons at least.
Right.
I think they will. Yeah, I think they will.
Yeah, and see, I think if you're giving up a young player and you're going to give up, maybe even a second-round draft pick or something, you're looking at saying, I'm going to bring this guy back next year, the following year. You have to if you're going to give up a young guy. And I think Derrick Rose, just knowing what I know about Derrick Rose, he's not going too far away from the Chicago area. And if he does, I think he'd be more comfortable going to a place like the Knicks, where he's comfortable with Tom Thibodeau, he's comfortable with Taj Gibson, right? And he's played in New York before. Because Derrick Rose doesn't like to, he's kind of a introverted type of guy. He likes to be a homer, exactly. So I think Derrick Rose would want to be where he feels comfortable the most, and he would feel comfortable with the Knicks, I think, because of the connections that he has to the team. Let me get to a phone call here. Caller, you're live. What's poppin'?
What's up, Sim? Thank you for taking my call. I appreciate you.
No problem.
Shout out to the MBK family. I just want to say real quick. I mean, if we get Derrick Rose, how much more does that push the needle? Like, how much better do you think we would be?
I think it depends on who we trade for Derrick Rose, right? Like I was just saying, if you're giving up Alfred Payton, I don't think it moves the needle much. Okay, you're getting a guy who's a little bit better offensively. Well, not a little bit better offensively, but he's going to give up something defensively that Alfred Payton gives you. If you keep Alfred Payton and you move Austin Rivers and whatever else you're going to move along in the trade, I think now you're adding 14 points per game to your bench. Right? A guy that has a mean pull-up jump shot. He can run the fast break. And if you need him to start, he can start and go head-to-head with some of these guys that's in the league because he's been there. And he's 32 years old. It's not like he's 37, 38. He's 32 years old. And I think he's still in pretty good shape. So I think he does, if you add him to the bench and you're not giving up Peyton, and I know people are saying, why are you so worried about Peyton? It's not really about being worried about, that Peyton is this all-world guard. I just think it, if you're trying to bolster your lineup, Peyton gives you 13 points per game. Why take that 13 out for 14 or 15? Why not add that 15 to your bench? You know what I mean? For a guy that gives you 6 or 7 or whatever Austin Rivers gives you. So I think that's where you bolster the lineup and make the lineup better. How much further along does it push us? I don't know. The one thing we know is that he's familiar with Tom Thibodeau. You know what he can do on the floor. You have another guard that if Alfred Payton is not hitting, Derrick Rose can pick up that slack. If Quickly is not hitting, Derrick Rose can pick up that slack. If Rose ain't hitting, probably Quickly can pick up that slack, right? So you add another threat out there, a scoring threat that I think really does help to push this team forward a little bit. We got the worst offense in the league. We need some guys that can score.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But that's all right. You can have the worst offense in the league if you have the best defense. But my point is, I'm not trying to get this guy because, A, he's past his prime. B, just like you said, it's 14 points a game. You already get that from other players. So, again, you're just giving assets for a washed-up player For familiarity, that's the only real reason why.
I don't think so. I don't think he's not MVP Derrick Rose, but that doesn't mean what he gives you isn't valuable. 14 points a game, 15 points a game is valuable, especially for our team. I think it's very valuable. And it's not like we're paying $30 million for him.
He's only making $7 million.
He's making $7 million. Yeah. I understand you might, you might be giving up an asset, but if you're not going to use Frank Ntilikina, why are you going to keep him around if you're not going to use him? It doesn't make sense. If he's just a guy that's going to be on the end of the bench and he's going to go to another team in the offseason, you might as well bring someone back that can help you now, that you think is going to help you now, and could possibly be here next season.
Okay, all right. I'll give you that. But in the case of Ntilikina, since you brought him up, why not trade him for something else that we may need? Like, for example, I don't know, someone else that comes up that's failed. But in my humble opinion, I don't believe we should get Derrick Rose simply because he knows Thibodeau. I mean, you slot him in the bench, he's up for Payne as the starter. Does he make Obi better? Is he going to be running like quickly? Or is he going to slow it down? You're going to mess up the continuity that you're already doing with the unit, are you not?
Well, see, to
there
me,
is no continuity on the second unit.
Exactly. I don't see that there's any continuity in that second unit right now. Derrick Rose is a guy that can help to bring some continuity to that second unit. Austin Rivers isn't able to, set things up when they need to set it up. Quickly is a rookie, and, he doesn't do a good job of doing that right now. And that's okay. I'm not blaming anything on Quickly. Derrick Rose is a guy that can come in and do that.
Well, I mean, I don't know. In my humble opinion, I would say keep Ntilikina as the asset and create something else. Package him with whoever you want to make a. I'm just not of the mindset that I think Derrick Rose is going to. If we're going for like a playoff push is that much better. I think his talent, unfortunately, done. He's not a great shooter. He doesn't space the floor any better in that regard. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Okay.
I appreciate you.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. I understand the sentiment, but we're not looking at Derrick Rose, the name Derrick Rose, in my opinion. You know what I mean? I think we're just looking at what he gives you right now. And that's what we'd be paying for, what he gives you right now. And we need another guy that can score 15 points. Even in today's win, what did we score today? 110? 110. Which is okay. We scored 110, but we scored 110 when we got 20 points out of Alfred Payton, and we normally don't get 20 points out of Alfred Payton. Right, 22 points out of Alfred Payton. We normally don't get that out of Alfred Payton. And it still was only 110. We got 20 whatever out of him the last game, and we still only scored like 106 or whatever it was. You know what I mean? We need someone who can score. Josh, I want to ask you, you keep saying that we need a guy, we really need someone in the starting lineup, you're saying, though, that can score prolifically, I guess. Derrick Rose is not going to be a prolific scorer, but how much, if you add him to the bench, how much does he push the needle, do you think?
I think again, depending on who we give up, if Rivers and Frank is in the deal and we can get Derrick Rose back, I think we can probably improve our point total on the season by, say, maybe 2 points, if that. So maybe instead of 102, maybe 104. I don't think it's going to be that drastic of a change. However, I do think we can bring some continuity to that second unit. I really, really do think so with Derrick Rose in there, because Austin Rivers is not doing it. Frank's not playing. And Derrick Rose is a guy that's aggressive, and he's going to get to the cup whenever he wants to get to that cup. And I think that can open up things for Obi, getting Obi involved and potentially Kevin Knox if he's not involved in the deal. So definitely. And then have Quickly play off of Derrick Rose. I think that'd be really, really good for the second unit.
Yeah. And I'm looking at a report right now. Okay. This is Rob Sampson from ESPN. It says, sources are telling me that the Knicks are preparing to send Frank Ntilikina, Alec Burks, and Reggie Bullock to Detroit for a package containing Derrick Rose and guess who? Please, somebody guess who?
Blake? Is it Blake? Wait a minute. Hold on, Sam. Wait.
No.
What are you looking at? This is on Twitter?
Hold on. Rob, and let me make sure that this is. Never mind. It's fake. There we go. I think it's fake.
Oh.
Anybody know who Rob? I don't know.
I
don't know. Does anybody know who Rob Sampson is for real?
He be on a real GM. I'm trying to see, did I see him on a real GM? That name sound familiar. Simpson is not Simpson or Sampson.
Simpson or Sampson? Like
Sampson. Rob Sampson, ESPN. I don't know. I'm not going to pay attention to that right there because I'm not sure if it's real. And when I look at the guy's account, he's got 176 followers. So I'm not going to pay attention to that one. Never mind. Don't listen to that.
Yeah.
Don't listen to that. All right, we're not going to listen to that. And never mind. Anyway.
Who was the player they said, though?
Wayne Ellington.
Oh, wait.
They want to bring
Said Wayne Ellington. Wayne Ellington is actually playing well for the Pistons, but anyway, that's all of that right there. Frank Ntilikina, Alec Burks, Reggie Bullock. You'd have to be bringing back. I mean, I guess Derrick Rose, Wayne Ellington, and I don't know. That's a lot of money going out. So I don't know if it would be. And they're not giving up Reggie Bullock. Tom Thibodeau's not giving up Reggie Bullock. Don't pay attention to that Rob Sampson dude. All right. Don't pay attention to it. I don't think that's real.
He said Derrick Rose, and who else was it?
He said that the Knicks would be sending out Frank Ntilikina, Alec Burks, Reggie Bullock to the Pistons for Derrick Rose and Wayne Ellington. I'm not paying attention to that though, because I don't think that Tom Thibodeau would trade. You'd make your team worse by trading Reggie Bullock, in my opinion. And it wouldn't make sense to include Alec Burks because you're trying to add scoring to your second unit. So don't pay attention. If you see Rob Sampson on Twitter talking about this trade, I'm just saying, in my opinion, don't pay attention to it. Only pay attention if it's Shams or Wojnarowski. All right.
Sam, I really think that the Pistons are going to give up a draft pick in this deal. I really, really do think so. Because again, it's not going to be Frank for Derrick Rose straight up. It's probably going to be another player. And, the Pistons have some draft picks over the next couple of years. They have some draft picks in the second round that they can give up. So I truly think, and I think, Leon Rose and Scott Perry, we've been draft pick hoarding since they got here, to be honest. So I think they're going to try to get a draft pick out of this deal. And I think that'd be a good thing.
I mean, that would be a good thing. If you can bring Derrick Rose back and get a draft pick, that'd be nice.
Yep.
Even if it's a second round pick, I guess. It'd still be kind of nice. So I guess we'll see what's happening. We'll follow it, see what's going down. I'm just saying, if it's going to happen, let it happen sooner than later. For those who are just joining us, one more time, let me put it out there for you. I'm pretty sure you already know, but we'll put it out there anyway. According to Shams, the Knicks are engaged in talks to acquire Derrick Rose. There are other teams who are interested, but the Pistons and Derrick Rose, they agree that a trade elsewhere would be best for both sides. And if you're wondering who the Knicks might trade, Ian Begley brings us this. He says Frank Ntilikina is one player who has come up in discussions between the Pistons and the Knicks about a potential trade for Derrick Rose. So we'll see what else comes about. Again, if I'm making this trade, I want to get it done sooner than later. I don't want it hanging around and, we're trying to, we got a game tomorrow. You know what I mean? So already it's impacting, if this is real, and I'm pretty sure, you see who it's coming from. It's real. It's impacting tomorrow's game already. Derrick Rose, ladies and gentlemen, he's averaging 14.2 points per game, 1.9 rebounds per game, 4.9 assists per game. He shoots 43% from the field. He's shooting 33% from three, and he's on a $7.7 million expiring contract. Frank Ntilikina makes about $6 million So that trade could actually work straight up. But I just don't think it makes sense to trade only Frank Ntilikina, a guy who's not getting playing time. You know, if you're going to make the trade, you might as well trade either Alfred Payton or Austin Rivers so that you don't create more of a glut at that guard position. And if it were me, I would move Austin Rivers. And maybe if they want a young player still, then a Frank Ntilikina, and then we bring back 2 players. Because then that way, you're adding to the bench, right? You're adding Derrick Rose instead of Austin Rivers to that bench. And I think, you bolster your lineup. Divine, if we make this trade, how much does it push us forward? And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell. You'll be notified anytime I go live or drop a video. Divine?
Yeah. I think people underestimating the experience of Derrick Rose. I think it helps our team out tremendously for this reason. Let's say if Austin Rivers' number stayed the same all year long. How many points is that? What, 6 points a game?
It'll probably go down.
Say that again.
And if Derrick Rose, if Austin Rivers' number stayed the same right now for the rest of the year, would that be 6 points a game?
Oh yeah, six points.
So you wouldn't tell me
like
you bringing in so you bringing in the guy who's scoring 8 more points a game if his number stayed the same way for the rest of the season. That's 8 more points you're getting every night that you wasn't getting prior, because that's what he's doing. The 4 assists is important to me because I think it moved the needle to him, because when Derrick Rose got that ball in the second unit, and if Alec Burks and quickly out there in that 3-point line, and Derrick Rose gets through the lane, and he averages 4 assists. And I seen Derrick Rose this year kick that the way they're kicking the ball out to the 3-point shooters. He'll open that thing up for quickly, because Rivers can get in there, but he was never passing to them dudes. Right. I think you put Derrick Rose in that, and he go to that bucket, you either gonna come at him, or he gonna throw it Noel, whoever, because they're going to collapse on Derrick Rose. And you best believe me, if quickly and Alex Burks is standing in them corners around that perimeter, it's game on. And he might have to do like Knox, because now Knox is one of them standing in the corner shooters. Derrick Rose getting that paint. He got quickly Knox and Alex Burks out there on the 3-point line. That could be kind of crazy. So I have no problem with that trade for that reason. I think we get Derrick Rose, we definitely in the playoffs. Just by what he brings to the team now, because I think we almost there now. I think added him with his experience, knowing the game of basketball, he know having stuff a lot of young cats don't even know. So you can't really check him on the court like that, because he's so experienced. You know what I mean? He's like, nah, I'm gonna show you how you do this. That's just, he's a former MVP, and you can't, and we're not losing nothing. That's the whole thing about it. People don't understand. We're not losing nothing. By getting Derrick Rose, you're giving up an aspire that you're not going to sign anyway. So why not take a chance on it? You wasn't signing Austin Rivers back, probably. You probably wasn't going to sign Frank back. So why not take and if you don't sign Derrick Rose back, leave for a half a season, boy, you got a nice ball player who is producing more than what you got now that you paying them and they're not producing. They got to get Derrick Rose up in here. We got to get him.
Yeah,
that's I really believe it, man.
Austin Rivers is averaging 8.2 points per game, so you're adding another 6 points per game. Hopefully, you would think your average, adding another 6 points per game. And I think Derrick Rose is just going to be more consistent with his play than Austin Rivers is. And, when you're seeing Austin Rivers today, he was all over the place. And it's like, yo, what are you doing? Where are you going? What's happening right now? And that's the reason why he got benched. Unless maybe the reason he didn't come back in the second half, we all assume it's because he played terribly. Maybe Tom Thibodeau got the word, hey, Rivers is about to be included in this trade. Don't put him in the second half.
But he won't get hurt.
That's possible, right? That's possible. Rivers is about to be included in the trade.
Possible.
Don't put him in the game. You never know.
They play roughly the same amount of minutes too. So I think, it's definitely an upgrade. Rivers for Derrick Rose, definitely. I mean, they play the same amount of minutes. So
yeah.
One thing Derrick Rose got is confidence. He confident. You know what I mean? Derrick Rose, he confident. These other cats, they confident. Yeah. Derrick Rose got this. I love to see that.
Shout out to 23 Blade. He said, do you think they trade Peyton and Frank for Rose, etc.? Actually, no, 23 Blade. I do not think they trade Peyton. I I think that Tom Thibodeau is okay with the starting unit right now. Leave Peyton in that starting unit. I think this is what they're thinking is to leave Peyton in that starting unit. Bring Rose in to bolster the bench. Because if it's Peyton for Rose, I don't think you're upgrading that much because Rose is not going to come in and give you 20 a game. Right? So if you keep Peyton in that starting lineup and then Rose comes in off the bench for Rivers, now his production can, help to bolster that bench. That's what I think is probably going to happen. Now Frank could be included in that. So I really feel like it could be Austin Rivers and Frank Ntilikina that's on their way out if this trade goes through. We'll see. And if it is Peyton, then Derrick Rose would probably come in and start. But then I don't think you add anything to your bench, and you probably give up something defensively in that starting unit. And I'm not exactly sure that's what Tom Thibodeau wants to do. So we'll see how it plays out. But one of those two guys, in my opinion, has to go. And yes, Peyton does have that no trade clause, so he has to approve anything. Right? He has to approve it. He has to say, yes, I'll go to Detroit. Why would he agree to go to Detroit? Why would he agree to go there? Somebody mentioned Josh Jackson. I wouldn't mind Josh Jackson, for real. But he's playing 22 minutes a game. He's getting 11.5 points. He's shooting 40% from the field. Not that crazy. A few rebounds a game. I don't think they're going to give up Josh Jackson, but who knows? There could be players moving in different directions. I'm pretty sure they're discussing a lot of things. Hey, take a shot in the dark. Maybe we find a way to bring back Saddiq Bey.
Right.
I would love that. I doubt it. I highly doubt it. But hey, I would love it if they found a way to bring back Saddiq Bey. I know that's not going to happen.
I knew you were going to say that, Sam. I knew it.
hey, if I can put it out there somewhere and somebody's listening, maybe it just makes them go ding, 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 ding. Hey, let's talk about Saddiq Bey. I would love it. I would love it. Only problem is if you bring back Saddiq Bey, that means Obi probably goes. Because then where does Saddiq Bey fit? So I don't know if I want to do that. I wouldn't do that. I want to keep Obi. I'm trying to keep Obi.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
What's
Saddiq
Bey, a 3 or 4?
He a 3/4. He can play either one.
Oh man.
You know what I mean? So then, you have another person in that 3/4 spot. Although I like Saddiq Bey.
He back up Bullock. He can back up Bullock though at the 3.
I mean, he's a defender. He can shoot the 3. He can rebound. Right. He can do a lot of stuff. But I doubt Detroit's going to give up their first round draft pick unless you're giving up Obi Toppin.
Upgrade over Kevin Knox for sure. Definitely an upgrade.
Yeah, definitely an upgrade over Knox.
Saddiq
that would be crazy. But we're pipe dreaming right now, ladies and gentlemen. We're pipe dreaming right now.
With Emmanuel Quickly and Derrick Rose, come on, man.
Right, we're pipe dreaming, but it's okay to pipe dream every once in a while.
Right.
Tony Crow, what's popping, man?
What's good, man? I just woke up. I seen you live. I don't even know what's going on. Where we at?
You don't know? You don't know? The Knicks are actively engaged in trade talks for Derrick Rose right now. Actively engaged. That's according to Shams. The Knicks are actively engaged in talks to acquire Derrick Rose from the Pistons. There are other teams, but the Knicks are. They mentioned the Knicks, I guess, because they're probably the most active. And according to Ian Begley, Frank Ntilikina is one player who has come up in discussions between the Pistons and the Knicks in a potential Derrick Rose trade.
That was my next question. So what you were saying, I don't know, I might have missed it, but you were trying to figure out what that meant rotation wise.
We were talking about we were talking about who would be traded, right? And how it would impact the rotation. So our thought process is that it's going to be either Peyton or Austin Rivers that's moved, along with a Frank Ntilikina, a young guy, or a second round pick or something like that, right? Me, I would prefer that it be Austin Rivers rather than Peyton, because that's how you're going to bolster the bench. Just bringing in Rose for Peyton to me doesn't push the team that much forward, because they're both giving you about the same points per game average. They're both shooting about the same from the field. Peyton's maybe a better defender. Derrick Rose is probably better offensively, even though they're shooting the same from the field. He's still probably better offensively. I think it only bolsters your team or pushes your team forward if you bring Derrick Rose so that he can be that bench. He can give you that bench boost along with quickly, So now his 15 points per game comes to the bench.
Okay, I hear you on that. What do you think that would do? Well, one, do you think we would just do Frank and pretty much be absorbing the rest of Rose's contract?
It's only $1 million. Derrick Rose is making 7. Frank is making 6.
Right. And if
so we're not necessarily including anybody. If it could be Frank straight up.
But if it's Frank,
go ahead, Sam. Go ahead.
Yeah, if it's Frank straight up, then you got more of a guard glut because you still got Austin Rivers, you still got Quickly, you still got Peyton, and now you got Derrick Rose. So that's why I say one of Peyton or Rivers has to go. To keep the roster clean.
I just feel like the to me, I look at it more like just more competition, more pressure on Rivers to to either perform or again keep that leash shortened or lose your rotation spot. I don't see two guards moving in particular. I mean, I could see where they may want a veteran, but I could definitely see it just being Frank and them having that French connection in the backcourt.
Right. The reason why I'm saying two guards leaving is looking at it from the Knicks standpoint. If they want Frank Ntilikina, they say, well, we want Frank. That's why his name is coming up. They say, well, if you want Frank, we want to clean up our guard glut. So here, you got to take one of these guys, something like that. And you're not using Frank anyway, so it's not like you're losing that, and you still got Dennis Smith Jr. if you had to. And it could be Dennis Smith Jr. I doubt it. I think they like Frank. The Pistons do. And I seen someone say, why would Derrick Rose come off the bench in New York? I think he was coming off the bench in Detroit.
Right.
And Detroit's not good, so why wouldn't he come off the bench in New York? He's coming off the bench in Detroit. So, and by the way, Derrick Rose is not playing tonight. Looking at it right now, he's not playing tonight. And Tony,
so they talking.
They talking. And Tony, you remember Austin Rivers didn't play in the second half. We all thought it was because of his performance. Maybe Tom Thibodeau got news, hey, this guy might be moved. Don't play him in the second half. So
is he he's eligible to be traded?
As of today, everybody who was signed in the offseason is eligible to be traded.
Goodness.
As of today, all of those guys are eligible to be traded. So yeah. And I seen someone in the chat say Saddiq Bey could definitely be, someone that the Pistons trade away. I doubt it. I do not think so. I don't know who said it, but I don't think Saddiq Bey.
Throw Knox in the mix.
I mean, if we want to keep expanding the trade, it get bigger and bigger and bigger. Listen, if they want to take Knox and give us Saddiq Bey, I'll do it all day. Although I do still believe in Knox, but if we're talking about winning right now, he's more ready to win right now. And he's still young.
That's that pressure competition. I like it.
Yeah, so
that's what I like to see.
We'll see what's gonna happen. We'll see what's gonna happen. Derrick Rose ain't playing. Austin Rivers got a DNP in the second half of today's game. Frank Ntilikina just wasn't gonna play anyway. We'll see, man.
What's Detroit's record? Do you have
Like
that?
They lottery bound the top 1 or 2 or 3 picks right now.
5-17.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope the Knicks stay away from Blake Griffin, unless he's not playing for the rest of the season, and the Knicks, say, hey, we'll do something where we absorb his contract. I don't know, but I don't want to hinder what we can do going forward either. I don't even know what his contract is. Yeah, I just want to stay away from that.
Trade him for Noel. Put him at the 5.
That'd be a lot of gloves.
If we get him, he got to play the 5.
Let me see.
I know that's a pipe dream. Blake got a little game. Blake hitting the 3 ball pretty good this year.
He's making way too much money.
Yeah, he's making $36 million this year and $38 million next year.
$36 million.
And that's a player option.
I thought he was only on 1 year.
Stay away from that.
That's how you keep
We stay
him.
way away from that jump. We staying way away from that. Yeah, he stay over there in Motor City. You know what I'm saying? You ain't messing with that at all.
I don't think Derrick Rose is the last trade you're gonna hear. I think the Knicks gonna go get a 3.
Yeah, that's the next question. If the Knicks are going to, if the Knicks make this trade, are they done, or are they going to continue to make moves?
I don't think so.
So Divine,
I think they're gonna need one more move.
So what would that move be? If they're going to make another move, if they make this move, and I hope they do it soon, because I don't want it looming over the team. If it's going to get done, let's just get it done. Get Derrick Rose in here, go through whatever COVID-19 protocol so that they can get acclimated and all of that. Get it done as soon as possible, in my opinion, if you're going to do it. Then what's next?
I think if you pull off the Derrick Rose trade, and knowing we still got $18 million in cap right now, the Knicks going to get a 3. They ain't done. Knicks ain't done. They ain't bringing Derrick Rose in just to win us 1 or 2 or 3 more games. I don't think they doing that. Mm-hmm. They will. I think I wouldn't break up the chemistry. I wouldn't break up the chemistry to bring Derrick Rose in. If Tom Thibodeau didn't think that this man can help me get to the level where I'm trying to go, because we need talent, and he figured he's a talent. I think I think they're going to wind up getting a small forward that can give you more than Reggie Bullock can. Per se, let's say 17, 18 a game. You know what I mean? They move Reggie Bullock to the bench. I think the Knicks going to get Derrick Rose to go in the backcourt in the backup unit. And I think they're going to, in the trade, they're going to find a small forward in the trade on the trade market before the deadline.
Or maybe a JJ Redick and move RJ to the 3.
Oh, yeah, right. They're going to make another move.
Because the Pelicans are apparently shopping JJ Redick.
Right. Right.
That would be nice.
Now,
yeah, I think they make a move, man.
The only thing that I don't like about this is I don't think you go after Rose and it doesn't turn into a long-term thing.
Right.
Which would take Lowry off the table. That's my only sad thing about it. But
it could possibly take Lowry off the table. It could, and because I do believe if the Knicks make this trade, they are going to be looking to do it and keep him long term. And if they still have Alfred Payton next year, maybe that role switches and Derrick Rose is the starter. Alfred Payton is coming off the bench, right? I just don't think, unless things just got real crazy, Tibbs likes his continuity, would probably keep it for this year, since this is what they've built. And then when next year's training camps get started, then make that switch. That's what I think would happen. Now, we did get movies and stuff said the Knicks can absorb Rose's $7.2 million salary without giving up a player because they're $18 million under the salary cap. Yes, they can. But if they plan on making another move, first of all, if you just absorb his contract, you're going to have to waive a player somebody anyway, because you can only have so many players on the roster. So you got to waive somebody. So if you're going to waive somebody, you might as well just trade, right? And then secondly, if you bring in Rose and you're not moving another guard, you're just making more of a guard glut that you got to deal with. You know, I think it's easier to, if you're going to make moves, you might as well make these moves, and at the same time that you're making these moves, tweak your roster, right? Clean it up a little bit so that it's, it's not so much of a glut, and it's easier to maneuver your roster. So I think that would be, a smart thing to do if you're going to make a move, Somebody said go get PJ Tucker. I mean, I know he's tough, and he's a tough guy. He's strong. I just don't know where he fits with this roster.
I mean, I think he fits exactly what he does as far as playing defense and shooting that corner three.
I know.
Where Obi play though?
Yeah, right. Because he plays the 4-5 type of position.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you don't think he can play the 3?
I thought you played the 3.
I mean, not in Houston. In Houston, he was forced to play the 5. You know what I mean?
I guess he could. I guess he could play the 3. He's still not. I mean, he's tough and he's strong, and he can hit that corner 3. He's not, lengthy. How tall is he? 6'6"?
Yeah, he's small, but he
a dog though.
I don't think it takes away from his defense.
No,
from what I've seen,
right.
You know what I mean?
Doesn't.
It's like it's a credit to him that he defends the way he does at his size.
I just, if he comes in and he's playing the 4 spot, then I just don't know where it fits. Unless they're like, hey, we're gonna, Obi's not gonna get that much burn if PJ Tucker comes in. I mean, think,
or he plays the small ball 5 off the bench at times, just because we know he could do it. Yeah, I don't necessarily like it, but we've seen it.
Yeah, I don't know if Tibbs actually goes to that. I think he's going to ride with his big guys. Our defense is just doing so well. I think it's a liability if we put, we go small ball 5 like that. You know what I mean? Only in worst case scenarios when Julius Randle, has to come out there because Mitch and Noel get into foul trouble. But they've been doing well with that lately. I don't see the Knicks really going back to that small ball 5 unless everything or hell breaks loose or something like that. You know what I mean?
Man, I hear you. I'm just saying we know he can do it.
Oh yeah.
PJ Tucker, hey, I'll take him on this team. He a dog now, little that brother. He might can't start, but I would on a small ball 5 just for the hell of it. I'll bring him off the bench with Obi Toppin and them. He gonna give you what Noel. He gonna give you Noel's defense, but he can hit a 3.
Yeah. I guess we'll see what happened. 23 Blade, he said, what do you think happens with IQ this year and next in your scenario? Do you think IQ can become a starter on this team? Is Bey available? One, I don't think Sadiq Bey is available. That's just a pipe dream of mine because I really like Sadiq Bey, and I feel like I felt like in the draft he would have fit this team really, really well. But I don't think he's available.
If they're asking for a pick, I'm asking for Bey and a Knox swap.
Okay, I get it. No doubt. And then you ask, what do I think happens with IQ this year? I think even if Derrick Rose comes to the team, IQ is still going to be IQ. I think, just like Austin Rivers and, Austin Rivers is going to take just as many shots as Derrick Rose would be taking, in my opinion. It's just Derrick Rose is going to make his, and Austin Rivers, probably isn't, or is going to do whatever he does. I still think IQ is going to get his. And as far as the next year, I still don't think IQ is going to be ready to start. I think he needs a year or two to just build some strength and build muscle, and just get used to the game. But having a guy like Derrick Rose on your team, I think does pave a way for IQ to be a starter, right? When you look at people, were calling for IQ to start over Rivers, but the thing was then, I just felt like you missed what IQ could do off the bench because he was that driving force off the bench. Now you can say, you know what? We can start IQ because Derrick Rose can be that driving force off the bench because he can score. Peyton might still be here, but Peyton and Rose could probably play together in that backcourt off the bench, and you still would have Derrick Rose being that driving force of the offense in that second unit. So I think it works well for Quickly having those three guards right there. I think you would have a nice point guard triplet, if that's what you want to call it. You know, we got a decent tandem with Quickly in Alfred Payton right now, and people don't want to hear that, but I think we do have a decent tandem in what they bring to the team. And if you add Derrick Rose into that mix, it could be pretty nice. It could be pretty nice. And, you know, so. And Brooklyn Belly says the Detroit Free Press is reporting that Rose did not play because the Knicks and Pistons are close to finalizing a deal. It could happen tonight, fellas. It could happen tonight. And I'm almost feeling confident that Austin Rivers is probably included in that. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe, like Josh and Divine was saying, maybe that's why Alfred Payton was balling out these last two games. He heard about this deal. He was like, yo, they're not moving me. Or I don't even want him to come ask me. I'm gonna let him know what's good.
or he's like, they not moving me to the bench.
Right.
You know
exactly.
I mean?
I'm not the one that's going to the bench. He come in, he's going to the bench. I'm getting mine. Watch this. You know what I mean? So who knows?
If he come here, him and Alfred Payton work together. I mean, they should wind up signing both of them next year.
I think that Alfred Payton's signing next year anyway.
Play out.
Yeah.
I think if that work out, they signing them.
Hey, Sim, do you think Rose and Payton would be a better tandem playing together than Quickly and Payton?
No.
I don't know.
I think
wait, hold on.
I think Quickly and Payton would fit better in the backcourt together than Rose and Quickly.
I don't know about that one. Either way, Quickly's gonna have to play off one of those guys. Quickly's gonna have to be in the off-ball role. But I don't know which one of those guys makes Quickly better, or I don't know which one of those duos are necessarily better.
I think with Payton not competing against them and playing with them, I could see that working more than Rose. Because Rose, he's good at what he does. And he's going to do what he does, like regardless of what team he's on or regardless of who his teammates are. You know what I mean? And I'm not knocking Rose at all, because even his last stint with the Knicks, you know, a lot of people threw shade at him. I thought he played particularly well, just doing what he does. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't necessarily run the offense, but he got assists based off of his ability, getting to the lane and kicking out. Like, you know what I mean? It wasn't like a set plays to get assists or he's coming in with the intention to get the assist. He just got him through the flow of his offense. I think Payton is more of a guy that kind of knows where his teammates are, you know what I mean, knows where they like the ball, will still penetrate and do what he does, but he will find you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just think Payton and Quickly would run better together as a tandem than Rose and Quickly.
I can see that. Hey, my man gonna help out Obi Toppin though. He play at Obi Toppin speed. Derrick Rose is a ball pusher. You know what I mean? He played at Obi Toppin speed, bro. You know what I mean? And Austin Rivers, he quick, but he wasn't passing the ball. He could. Derrick Rose open that offense up big time. I just think that him getting to that lane, either you gonna foul Derrick Rose, Derrick Rose gonna put it in your face, or you gonna kick that ball out to Quickly or Alex Burks or whoever. He's gonna open up that offense tremendously, man. And we all basketball observers. We've been looking for a point guard to get down that middle of that paint and wreak havoc on. Could everybody open up? That's gonna be nice. I hope this works. Well,
and he's a former MVP. We can't forget about that. He's a former MVP.
Oh man, that's gonna
when's the last time the Knicks had that on the roster?
Right. So, hey, he's a guy that's went deep in the playoffs. He's gone deep in the playoffs. He's been through injury and back. You know, I think he has grown and he's grown some right, and matured a little bit, I think it'd be a nice move, man. But listen, I will make sure to keep you guys updated. If anything pops off, I'm going to jump back on so we can talk about it. If you're just joining me, I'm going to tell you one more time before I get up out of here, just so you know, in case you didn't know. According to Shams, the Knicks are engaged in talks to acquire Derrick Rose. Other teams are also interested. The Pistons and Derrick Rose agree that a trade elsewhere would be best for both sides. Derrick Rose is not playing tonight, and it seems like it's probably in relation to him being traded. According to Ian Begley, Frank Ntilikina's one player has come up in discussions between the Pistons and Knicks about a potential Derrick Rose trade, and it's going to hurt my heart. I hate to see Frank Ntilikina be traded, man. He's been one of my favorite players, but I get it. And I'd rather see him go someplace where he's going to play basketball than just sit on the bench and not play. If they're not going to use him, they might as well move him. And the rhyme was halfway intended. The rhyme was halfway intended, but, if you're not going to use him, move him. Derrick Rose, he averages this season 14.2 points per game, 1.9 rebounds per game, 4.9 assists per game. He's shooting 43% from the field. He's shooting 33% from threes. Never really been a strong three-point shooter, but we know other things he can do. He's got a $7.7 million expiring contract. And there we go. There we go, man. Before we get out of here, any last words? I'll start with you, Divine. Then I'll come around to Josh and Tony.
I hope everything worked out. I'm excited about the trade. I hope it pulled through. Shoot around tomorrow or pre-game show tomorrow?
Pre-game show. Pre-game show, 12 o'clock. Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah, man, but I'm excited about that, man. I think that will help out the Knicks tremendously, man. I'm talking about, you can at least add 4 to 5 more wins guaranteed with Derrick Rose. Because he's going to give you what Austin Rivers is not giving you on a night when Austin Rivers is not giving you nothing when we need it. So if Derrick Rose can do what he's doing with those 14 points, that's just gonna his experience, his game, being in the game, being at an experienced role and done did it before, have been in tough situations. That's another asset to our bench from an experience standpoint. He could tell quickly about, quickly you probably need to do this too. You know what I mean? So he's like gonna be somebody behind quickly who could teach quickly while he out there and take the pressure off of quickly. So I think it's a good move all around. Him and Todd Gibson been in them places before. They've been in the trenches. They know how to grind is. Derrick Rose know how to grind. A lot of them cats don't know how to grind. We need some grinders. So I think I'll be pleased if it happens and we wake up tomorrow and Derrick Rose in the Knicks uniform for sure.
Yeah. Josh?
Divine hit everything that I was going to say. I think this definitely improves the team. Just depending on who we give up, hopefully we don't give up too much, and don't sleep on us getting the draft pick back. I think that's something that the Knicks are really gonna try to push for in this deal since Detroit is selling.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Tony?
I'm awake now. I'm good, man. My eyes is open. I'm ready. I'm gonna be listening for everything that's coming out too. So hopefully something gets done quicker rather than later. If they're holding the player out, it seems as if more than likely something would be done today. So yeah, I'm excited just to see what happens and where it goes.
Yeah, me too, man.
As always, shout out to you, Sim. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the panel. Your Blackest Time. Sim, keep doing your thing. Divine, good looking out. Check me and Divine out. Knicks and Bruises. We just did an episode not too long ago. Salute.
Yeah, make sure you check that out. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, I'll be up. Me. I don't really sleep that much. I'm gonna be up all night. So if something hot happens overnight, I might jump on 3 o'clock in the morning. You might get that notification. Who knows? But stay tuned. Stay tuned because it sounds like it could be very, very close and be done within the next couple of days. If not today, the next couple of days. We'll see what happens. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate it. I will see you tomorrow, 12 p.m. for the Knicks versus who they play? Oh, Miami Heat game preview. All right? I'll catch you guys then. Be peaceful. out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Spread love, ladies and gentlemen. Spread love. Derrick Rose to the Knicks.